Look at a heavily insulated outpost sitting on top of 2 miles of solid ice, built purely to survive the deadliest winter storms on Earth. Now, fly across the map to a 2,000-foot glass needle piercing the desert sky, a building so massive that engineers had to invent a brand new shape just to stop the wind from knocking it over. Humans have spent billions of dollars and pushed science to the absolute edge to conquer the sky. But every single continent has its own unique king of the skyline, and the secret reasons they were built will shock you. Some were designed to survive massive earthquakes, others to flex national wealth, and one is just trying not to be swallowed by snow. Today, we are ranking the tallest building on all 7 continents, starting from the smallest, toughest survivor to the ultimate global giant. Before we start our journey, we need to know the rules. How do we exactly measure the tallest buildings? A group called the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat makes the rules. For a structure to be called a building, at least half of its height must be space where people can actually live or work. This means radio towers, bridges, and observation masts simply do not count. Also, the official height includes the permanent parts of the building, like the main roof and decorative spires. But it does not count antennas or flagpoles that can be taken off. This creates a very interesting loophole called vanity height, where developers add massive, empty spires just to break records. Now that we know the rules, let us start our global tour. We begin our journey at the bottom of the world in Antarctica. This continent is a frozen desert. There are no big cities, no shopping malls, and no real skyscrapers. The weather here is the harshest on the planet. Temperatures can drop to minus 112 degrees Fahrenheit, and massive hurricane-force winds sweep across the ice. Because of these extreme conditions, building tall is actually a terrible idea. A tall building would block the wind and cause huge piles of snow to build up, quickly burying the lower floors under tons of crushing ice. However, people still need places to live and do science, so engineers have to get creative. The tallest building in Antarctica is generally considered to be the Vostok Station, a Russian research base that reaches a height of 57 feet. Another tall structure is the American Balloon Payload Building at McMurdo Station, which is 49 feet tall. These buildings are not tall for looks. They are actually lifted off the ground on giant skis or hydraulic stilts. This allows giant tractors to tow them away or lift them higher so they do not get swallowed by the shifting snow. More recently, the United Kingdom built the new Discovery Building at the Rothera Research Station. It is a massive 2-story facility with a special aerodynamic snow deflector on the roof to keep the wind from burying it, and features a communications tower that reaches over 16 meters or 52.5 feet above the ground. In Antarctica, height is purely about survival. Next, we travel to South America. Here, the challenge is not ice, but earthquakes. The tallest building in South America is the Gran Torre Santiago, located in the capital city of Chile. It stands 984 feet tall and has 62 floors. Building a super tall tower in a place where the ground shakes violently is an absolute engineering marvel. To keep the building from falling over, engineers gave it a giant, super strong concrete core. They also wrapped the building in a web of flexible steel outriggers that can absorb the shock waves from an earthquake. This amazing design was put to the ultimate test in the year 2010. While the tower was still being built, a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit Chile. Buildings all over the country fell down, but the Gran Torre Santiago survived without a single structural crack. It also features incredible green engineering, using cold water pumped directly from the nearby San Carlos Canal to run the building's high-efficiency cooling system. Today, it stands as a proud symbol of safety, featuring a public deck at the top where visitors can look out over the beautiful Andes Mountains. But its record might not last forever. A new project called the Sena Tower has just been approved in Brazil. If completed, it will reach an unbelievable 1,785 feet, making it the tallest residential building in the entire world. If you are enjoying the video, kindly like and subscribe. Now we cross the Pacific Ocean to Oceania. In this part of the world, Australia holds the crown for the tallest towers, largely driven by a massive rivalry between the cities of Melbourne and the Gold Coast. The official tallest building in Oceania is the Q1 Tower, located on the sunny beaches of the Gold Coast. Finished in 2005, the Q1 Tower, which was named in honor of the Australian Olympic sculling team of the 1920s, reaches 1,058 feet into the sky. For a long time, Q1 was the tallest fully residential building in the entire world. Its sleek design was inspired by the Olympic torch and the famous sweeping curves of the Sydney Opera House. But Q1 only holds the top spot because of a massive permanent spire on its roof. Another building in Melbourne, called Australia 108, actually has higher floors where people live. Australia 108 is only a few feet shorter than Q1 in total height, but it has 100 floors compared to Q1 having 78 floors. Still, because the official rules count the permanent spire, Q1 remains the undisputed king of Oceania. Developers recently tried to build an even taller tower in Melbourne called STHBNK, which would have featured the tallest vertical garden in the world, but skyrocketing construction costs have paused the project. Our next stop is Africa, a continent that is growing and changing faster than almost anywhere else. For many decades, the skyline in Africa did not change much. The tallest building was a simple office tower in South Africa, but today, a massive building boom is taking place. The current tallest building in Africa is the iconic tower in Egypt. It stands at 1,292 feet and has 77 floors. The iconic tower is the shiny new center of a brand new capital city being built in the desert just outside of Cairo. The old city of Cairo is incredibly crowded, causing massive traffic jams that hurt the economy. So the government is building this new city to give millions of people more room to live and work. The tower is beautifully shaped like an ancient Egyptian obelisk, honoring the country's rich history. However, the iconic tower is about to lose its crown. In the Ivory Coast, a new skyscraper called Tour F is currently being built in the city of Abidjan. It is already nearing completion and will reach 1,381 feet, easily becoming the new tallest building in Africa. Its stunning glass design is inspired by traditional African masks, proving that the future of African architecture is incredibly bright. Moving up the map, we arrive in Europe. If you walk through the streets of Paris, you will notice that almost all the buildings are the exact same height. This is because city planners want to protect the beautiful, clear views of the Eiffel Tower and the historic skyline. London has similar rules to protect the view of St. Paul's Cathedral. Many cities in Western Europe have strict rules to protect their historic views. You cannot just block the view of a famous landmark with a massive glass box. Because of this, the tallest building in Europe is found far in the east, in St. Petersburg, Russia. The Lacta Center is a stunning piece of architecture that stands 1,516 feet tall. It serves as the main office for a giant energy company. The building is designed to look like a twisting flame of natural gas. Building a skyscraper this far north is incredibly difficult because of freezing temperatures and harsh winds coming off the sea. Engineers had to use special glass that keeps the cold out and traps the heat inside. Even in the freezing Russian winter, the Lacta Center is very energy efficient. Meanwhile, in the European Union, the tallest building is the Warsaw Tower in Poland, which stands at 1,017 feet. Our second to last stop is North America, the historical birthplace of the skyscraper. Over a century ago, the very first tall steel buildings were built in Chicago and New York. Today, the tallest building in North America is One World Trade Center in New York City. It reaches a deeply meaningful height of 1,776 feet. That specific number was chosen on purpose to match the year the United States signed the Declaration of Independence. One World Trade Center was built to replace the original Twin Towers. It is an incredibly strong building, designed with a thick concrete base and extreme safety features, including a ventilation system equipped with advanced biological and chemical filters. It also features the SkyPod elevators, which can whisk visitors up 102 floors in an astonishing 47 seconds. Just like in Australia, there was a massive debate about its height. The top of the building features a 408-foot bare steel mast. Because it does not have decorative panels, some people argued it was just an antenna, which would not count toward the official height. If the judges agreed, the building would have lost its record. But the committee decided the mast was a permanent part of the original design, so the building was granted the official height of 1,776 feet. Meanwhile, a new trend is taking over New York: super slim residential towers. The Central Park Tower is actually taller than One World Trade Center, if you only count the roof, showing how builders are squeezing massive heights into tiny spaces. Finally, we arrive in Asia. This continent has completely taken over the world of extreme engineering. If you look at a list of the 10 tallest buildings on Earth today, 9 of them are in Asia. They include the stunning Merdeka 118 in Malaysia, which is the second tallest building in the world at 2,227 feet, and the twisting Shanghai Tower in China at 2,073 feet. But one tower stands far above the rest. The tallest building in Asia and the tallest building in the entire world is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The Burj Khalifa is a mind-blowing 2,717 feet tall. To put that in perspective, it is more than 2.5 times taller than the Eiffel Tower. It has 163 floors holding luxury hotels, apartments, and offices. You can actually see the tip of its spire from 60 miles away. In fact, the building is so incredibly tall that the temperature at the very top is actually 11 degrees Fahrenheit, or 6 degrees Celsius, cooler than it is down at the ground level. To build something this incredibly tall, traditional steel frames were simply not enough. The wind at that height is incredibly powerful and would easily knock a normal building over. Engineers had to invent a brand new shape called a buttressed core. The building is shaped like a letter Y. As the wind hits the building, the shape confuses the wind and breaks it apart, stopping the tower from swaying too much. Pumping concrete that high into the sky is an incredibly difficult task. Engineers had to design specialized high-pressure pumps to push liquid concrete straight up before it dried. The Burj Khalifa is a true vertical city. It takes a massive amount of water, electricity, and super-fast elevators to keep it running every single day. It has held the title of the world's tallest building since it opened in 2010, completely changing how we think about what is possible to build. From freezing research bases to shining towers in the desert, humans have proved that no matter the environment, we will always find a way to reach the clouds. Think tallest tower wins? Wrong. This is a game of skyscraper armies. These are the places that field whole stacked fleets of high-rise, block after block after block. From cool morning haze in Tokyo to blazing noon in Kuala Lumpur, we count from 5 and storm the crown. These are the undisputed champions of skyscraper construction. Let's set the rules. We're counting completed buildings at least 150 meters tall, real occupiable towers where people work, live, and visit every day. Observation masts and broadcast towers do not count. With that, we start at number 5. Number 5, Japan, 284 buildings. If you love precision, Japan's Skyline is your happy place. Tokyo's new flagship, Azabudai Hills Mori JP Tower, is officially the tallest building in the country. It rises like a polished obelisk from a lush urban campus, anchoring a district built around human scale, gardens, walkways, public art, and calm plazas tucked between seamless glass. That city within a city approach is very Japanese, every detail thought through, from earthquake engineering to the gentle way the podium meets the street. But here's a quick fact you might hear at parties and should gently correct. Tokyo Skytree is not a building. It is a broadcasting and observation tower, so it does not belong on a list of occupiable buildings. What Japan brings instead is refined architectural craft. Look closely at Tokyo, Osaka, and Yokohama, and you'll see a design language of restraint. Clean curtain walls, perfect joints, subtle lighting. These towers are not shouting, they are whispering confidence. 284 buildings over 150 meters is less than our next countries, but the bar for quality is sky high, and the city planning around them is some of the best on earth. Number 4, Malaysia, 327 buildings. Kuala Lumpur does not tiptoe onto this list. It arrives with drum rolls. If the skyline had a poster, it would be two: the Petronas Towers. Those stainless steel twins, joined by a sky bridge, turn Malaysia into a global skyscraper destination. They are not just tall, they are symbolic, blending Islamic geometric patterns with contemporary engineering so gracefully that they still look fresh decades later. And now, Kuala Lumpur has a new headline: Merdeka 118. One glance and you know the city has entered the era of mega tall. The faceted profile catches morning sun like a crystal blade, and the crown is a beacon from miles away. Beyond the icons, Malaysia's count grows with residential and mixed-use towers that cluster around transit and shopping spines. What makes Malaysia fascinating is how the skyline describes a national story: ambition tied to culture, high finance braided with public spaces, and a willingness to push for landmarks that become shorthand for the entire country. 327 buildings is serious vertical momentum. Number 3, United Arab Emirates, 345 buildings. If all were a place, it would be Dubai at golden hour. Here, a single building, Burj Khalifa, redefined what is possible. From its soaring spire to the terraced setbacks that form a desert lily in plan, the world's tallest structure feels less constructed than carved from sunlight. But reduce the UAE to one giant spear of glass and you miss the point. The country has built an ecosystem of super talls, svelte hotel towers on the shoreline, residential needles along the marina, and experimental shapes that turn corners into Instagram views. There's a distinctive showmanship in the Emirates. Water features dance at the foot of skyscrapers, malls sit inside master plans like air-conditioned cities, and even the highways frame the skyline like a movie set. Architects come here to try ideas at full scale. Of course, that spectacle is backed by logistics and regulation that can deliver complicated projects on tight timelines. No small feat when every floor plate hangs hundreds of meters above the ground. 345 buildings in a country this young? That's not just growth, it's a declaration. Before we head to the top 2, a quick breather. If you're enjoying this climb through the world's skylines, kindly like and subscribe. It helps more city lovers find the channel and keeps us exploring the built world every week. Number 2, United States, 927 buildings. The modern skyscraper's birthplace still knows how to rise. The United States built the first vertical boom with steel frames and elevators, and that DNA still shows from Chicago's riverfront to Midtown Manhattan. Today's crown, One World Trade Center in New York, is as much memorial as tower. 1,776 feet of deliberate symbolism and quiet strength. Its glass panels catch shifting weather like a mirror of the harbor. Its base is a fortress of polished stone. Its spire reclaims a skyline scar with dignity. But America's story is bigger than one address. Miami glitters with residential towers, creating a waterfront wall of blue-green glass. San Francisco threads its tall buildings between hills and bay winds. Chicago keeps flexing, mixing heritage with new exclamation points along Lake Michigan. Even smaller cities, from Austin to Seattle, are stacking new height, often around transit and tech hubs. 927 buildings over 150 meters is the output of a vast, diversified economy where different cities compete not just for tenants, but for identity. And as zoning evolves to favor density near transit, the next wave is already queued. Number 1, China, 3,570 buildings. There is no contest. China has transformed entire skylines at a speed and scale the world has never seen. In mega cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen, skyscrapers are not outliers, they are the standard language of urban life. The icons are familiar: Shanghai Tower swirling like a glass ribbon into the clouds, Ping An Finance Center composing power with a razor-clean crystalline silhouette. But the real story is how deep the bench runs. Dozens upon dozens of provincial capitals now host complete vertical districts: office, residential, hotel, mall, transit node, stacked and stitched into master plans the size of small countries. What makes China's skyline unique is orchestration. These are not random spikes. They are synchronized with subways, ring roads, and green belts. You see tower clusters that step their height to carve view corridors, podiums that hide bus stations and retail, and public terraces that pull people upward into the development. Developers compete on facades, folded glass, bronze fins, shimmering screens. and the engineering behind the scenes is night and day better than a generation ago. Tuned mass dampers, mega braces, high-strength concrete, smart facades that sip energy. 3,570 buildings above 150 meters is a statistic. Standing on a Shanghai river walk at dusk is the feeling behind it. What these rankings really tell us. On paper, this is a scoreboard. In real life, it is a map of urban strategy. Japan says quality and safety first, threading tall buildings into neighborhoods built for walking. Malaysia says icons matter, using landmarks to anchor a global identity while expanding the ecosystem around them. The United Arab Emirates says turn the wow factor into an economy, translating spectacle into tourism, hospitality, and retail. The United States says diversify, letting different cities pioneer different models, from tech-driven residential booms to resilient office districts. China says scale with intention, building entire city pieces at once so that transit, public space, and towers launch together. And a quick reminder for the trivia debates. Broadcast towers, like Tokyo Skytree, do not count here. We are counting buildings where people work, live, shop, and visit. That detail matters because it ties height to everyday life, not just skyline photos. Why height still matters. Height is not just a number, it is a tool. A tall building can reduce sprawl by stacking homes and offices on a tiny footprint. It can support transit by supplying thousands of riders within a short walk. It can frame public space, giving a city a recognizable silhouette that residents feel proud of. Done badly, tall buildings cast long shadows and create wind tunnels. Done well, they bring light to plazas, cafes to podiums, and life to the hours after sunset. The countries on this list are learning those lessons in different ways, and often faster than our textbooks can keep up. The human scale in a mega-tall world. Even in the land of super talls, the magic happens where towers meet the street. Japan leads here, with podium gardens and pocket parks that invite you to sit down, not just pass through. The United States is rediscovering ground floor warmth. Think food halls at the base of office towers, or residential lobbies that feel like living rooms spilling onto sidewalks. In Malaysia and the UAE, mall culture means the podium can be an indoor city, a social condenser in hot climates. And in China, you see elevated walkways and terraces that stack public space up the building like vertical neighborhoods. The skyline may grab your eye, but the ground is where you decide whether to stay. What's next? Expect smarter facades that change with sun and season, timber hybrid towers that lock away carbon, and towers designed as mini power plants with solar fins and wind-catching crowns. Expect more mixed use. Homes above offices, above a school, above a garden, above a transit hub. And expect the conversation to shift from how high to how well. How well a building cuts energy use, how well it frames a street, how well it earns a place in the mental map of the city. So, who wins the Skyline decade? By the numbers, China is far in front. By narrative, each country wins its own category. Japan wins for craft and comfort. Malaysia wins for sheer icon power. The UAE wins for spectacle that fuels an economy. The United States wins for diversity and reinvention. China wins for orchestration at epic scale. Together, they show how height can be more than bragging rights. It can be the backbone of a better city. For nearly half a century, one building stood alone as the undisputed king of the New York skyline. It was the face of the city, the soul of Manhattan, and the benchmark for every skyscraper on Earth. But in just the last few years, the hierarchy of the clouds has been completely rewritten. Today, that legendary icon has been pushed all the way down to number 8 on the list. A new wave of glass giants has taken over, including needle-thin pencil towers that sway in the wind and massive corporate headquarters powered by rushing waterfalls. These are the 10 tallest buildings in New York City, and the engineering secrets keeping them up are just as shocking as the price tags inside. Today, we are climbing from the bottom all the way to the 1,776-foot peak to see who really owns the sky. The skyline of New York City is not just a collection of buildings. It is a multi-billion-dollar race to the stars. For decades, the heights of these towers stayed mostly the same, but recently, A massive boom in engineering and global wealth has sent glass and steel screaming into the atmosphere. To understand how the city has changed, we need to look at the 10 tallest buildings in New York as they stand today. We begin our countdown at number 10 with 3 World Trade Center. Rising 1,079 feet above the streets of Lower Manhattan, this tower is a powerful symbol of how the city can rebuild after a tragedy. Finished in 2018, it was designed by the famous architect Richard Rogers. If you look at the outside, you will see a massive pattern of steel that looks like the letter K. This is not just for decoration, it is called external bracing. By putting the support on the outside, the engineers were able to remove almost all the columns from the inside. This means the people working in the offices have a totally clear view of the harbor and the Statue of Liberty. It is connected directly to the Oculus, which is a massive white transit hub that looks like a bird taking flight. Over 1 million people walk through this area every week, making it one of the busiest spots in the world. Next on our list at number 9 is the Bank of America Tower. Located right next to Bryant Park, this skyscraper reaches 1,200 feet into the air. When it was completed in 2009, it was a total game changer for the environment. It was the first skyscraper in the United States to get a platinum rating for being green. But the real secret is in the basement. Down in the lowest cellar, there are 44 massive tanks filled with water. At night, when the city is asleep and electricity is cheap, the building uses its own power plant to freeze that water into giant blocks of ice. Then, during the hot summer days, the building melts that ice to cool the air inside. This saves a massive amount of energy and keeps the city's power grid from crashing. It is like a giant battery, but instead of chemicals, it uses ice. Now we come to the legend at number 8, the Empire State Building. For 40 long years, this was the tallest building on the planet. It stands at 1,250 feet tall at its roof. The story of its construction is almost unbelievable. In 1930, workers were building it so fast that they finished more than 4 floors every single week. It took only 410 days to complete the whole thing. But did you know the top was originally designed for something else? The architects thought they could use the spire as a docking station for giant airships. They imagined passengers walking across a gangplank high in the clouds to enter the building. However, 40-mile-per-hour winds made it impossible to tie a giant balloon to the top of a skyscraper. Today, it remains the most famous building in the world, but it has officially been passed by 7 newer giants. At number 7, we head over to the west side to see 30 Hudson Yards. This tower reaches 1,268 feet into the sky and is the center of the biggest private construction project in American history. The craziest thing about this building is where it stands. It is actually built on a massive platform that floats over active train tracks. Engineers had to drive 300 giant concrete pillars into the ground between the moving trains just to hold the platform up. At the very top, you will find the edge. This is a triangular deck that sticks out 80 feet from the side of the building with nothing but glass under your feet. It is the highest outdoor sky deck in the Western Hemisphere, and if you are brave enough, you can even lean out over the city on its angled glass walls. Moving up to number 6, we have 270 Park Avenue. This is the global headquarters for J.P. Morgan Chase, and it stands 1,388 feet tall. This building is a marvel because of what happened before it was built. The owners actually tore down a 52-story skyscraper just to put this one in its place. It is now the tallest building in New York that is powered entirely by clean hydroelectric energy. The base of the tower is very unusual. Instead of a solid wall, it uses massive fan-shaped columns that lift the building 80 feet into the air. This creates a giant public plaza at the bottom, giving people a place to sit and relax in the middle of one of the busiest business districts on Earth. Before we move into the top 5 most massive towers in the city, if you are enjoying this vertical journey, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more deep dives into the world's most incredible builds coming your way, and your support helps us keep the lights on and the cameras rolling. Starting our top 5 is the most controversial tower on the list, 432 Park Avenue. This perfectly square needle reaches 1,397 feet. It was once the tallest residential building in the world, but it has faced many problems. Because it is so thin, it sways several feet in the wind. This swaying once caused the elevators to get stuck and led to pipes bursting and flooding the luxury apartments. Residents even filed a lawsuit for $165 million because of cracks in the concrete facade. To stop the wind from pushing the building too hard, the architects left 2 floors completely empty every few levels. This allows the air to blow right through the building instead of hitting it like a solid wall. It looks like a giant white grid against the sky, but for the billionaires living there, it has been a very bumpy ride. At number 4 is One Vanderbilt. Standing 1,401 feet tall, this building transformed the area right next to Grand Central Terminal. It was built as part of a plan to modernize Midtown Manhattan. The developer spent over $200 million just to fix the subway tunnels underneath the building. The highlight of this tower is the Summit Observation Deck. It is filled with mirrors on the floors and ceilings, making it feel like you are walking through a cloud of glass. It even has glass boxes called levitation that stick out over the street, letting you look 1,000 feet straight down at the taxis on Madison Avenue. Now we reach the top 3, starting with the thinnest skyscraper in the world, 111 West 57th Street. This building is a staggering 1,428 feet tall, but it is only 60 feet wide at its base. That is a ratio of 24 to 1, making it look like a silver needle. To keep such a thin tower from falling over, the engineers used a massive weight at the top called a tuned mass damper. This 800-ton block of steel counteracts the sway of the wind. The outside is covered in thousands of terracotta tiles and bronze accents, giving it a look that reminds people of the classic skyscrapers from the 1920s. It is built right on top of the old Steinway Hall, which used to be a famous piano showroom. Coming in at number 2 is Central Park Tower. This is the tallest residential building on Earth, reaching 1,550 feet. It is so high that the apartments at the top have views that are usually only seen by pilots. Because it is so tall and skinny, the engineers had to build a 28-foot cantilever on the east side. This means part of the building actually hangs out over the building next door so that every resident can have a perfect view of Central Park. At the bottom, there is a massive Nordstrom store that takes up 7 floors. The penthouse at the very top was once listed for nearly $200 million, making it one of the most expensive homes ever built. Finally, at number 1, we have the king of the New York skyline, One World Trade Center. It stands at a symbolic height of 1,776 feet, which represents the year the United States was born. This building is designed to be the strongest and safest skyscraper ever made. It has a high-strength concrete core that is more than 2 feet thick, and the base is a massive windowless podium designed to protect against any kind of impact. Its shape is a series of 8 triangles that catch the light from every direction, making it look like a giant glowing crystal. It is more than just a building. It is a monument to the spirit of the city and a reminder that New York will always keep reaching higher. From quiet shores to concrete giants, these are America's tallest cities. Skyscrapers aren't just tall buildings, they're power moves in the sky. From calm waterfronts to the most famous skyline on Earth, today we're counting down the top 10 cities in the United States with the most skyscrapers. Starting from the underdog all the way to the undisputed king of the skyline. Stay with me until the end. Number 1 will not surprise you, but who shows up before it just might. Number 10, Jersey City, New Jersey. We start across the river from New York, in a city that used to live in the shadow of Manhattan's skyline. Now, Jersey City has built a skyline of its own. Dozens of residential and office towers rise along the Hudson, with glass facades catching the light from the water. Buildings like 99 Hudson pierce the sky, turning what was once a quiet waterfront into a vertical neighborhood. This city proves you do not have to be the biggest to think tall. Jersey City is like New York's younger sibling that quietly went to the gym and came back stacked with high-rises. From here, we point our camera south and west. Number 9, Dallas, Texas. Welcome to Dallas, a city where the skyline looks like a lineup of blue glass giants. Dallas has grown into one of the country's major business hubs, and you can see it in the architecture. Downtown is filled with sleek towers, mirrored glass, sharp lines, and glowing outlines at night. The famous Bank of America Plaza lights up the sky with neon edges, turning the whole city core into a glowing circuit board after dark. Dallas does not have the tallest buildings in America, but it has a confident corporate skyline that screams energy, money, and momentum. This is the kind of place where deals are made on the top floor while the city buzzes below. Next, we head northwest to a city where skyscrapers stand between mountains and water. Number 8, Seattle, Washington. Think of Seattle and you might think of coffee, tech, and rain. But look closer at the skyline and you'll see a forest of towers rising above Elliott Bay. Seattle's skyscrapers shoot up from a compact downtown, dark glass, modern shapes, and a surprising number of tall buildings for a city known for its natural scenery. The Columbia Center dominates the skyline, a dark tower that looks like it was built for a superhero movie. From the water, the view is dramatic. Ferries pulling in, the Space Needle off to one side, and a wall of skyscrapers behind it all. Seattle proves that a city can be both outdoorsy and vertical at the same time. Now let's fly all the way to one of America's oldest cities. Number 7. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is famous for history, cobblestone streets, old brick buildings, and the feeling that the American story started here. But above that classic street level, Boston is also reaching for the clouds. Its skyline is a blend of old and new. The historic neighborhoods sit in the shadows of modern towers like the Prudential Tower and the skyscrapers of the financial district. You'll see glass and steel rising behind church steeples and brownstones, creating a contrast you do not find in many other places. Boston's skyscrapers might not set height records, but they tell a different story. A city that respects its past while still building upward for the future. Now we cross the country again to the West Coast and a skyline built on hills and fault lines. Number 6, San Francisco, California. San Francisco is a city of steep streets, cable cars, and some very serious skyscrapers. Because of earthquakes, San Francisco has to build smart and strong. That is why many of its tall buildings are slender, high-tech towers designed to sway safely when the ground moves. The star of the show is the Salesforce Tower, a massive tapering skyscraper that now dominates the skyline and can be seen from all over the Bay Area. From the Bay Bridge or the water, San Francisco's skyline looks like a cluster of futuristic needles pushing up through the fog. It is compact, dense, and dramatic, a reminder that even in a city known for Victorian houses and streetcars, the future still points straight up. Before we break into the top 5, quick pause. If you're enjoying this tour through America's tallest cities, kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more deep dives into the world's most incredible skylines. Alright, into the top 5 we go. Number 5, Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles is famous for palm trees, freeways, and endless sprawl. But downtown LA has been quietly building up, not just out. For years, the US Bank Tower was the symbol of the skyline, a tall cylindrical tower standing high above the rest. Now it shares the stage with the Wilshire Grand Center, which many recognize as the tallest building in the western United States when you count its spire, along with a growing cluster of tall hotels and office towers that give LA a more vertical profile. From street level, the skyscrapers rise above a city that does not really have a center in the traditional sense, but from the hills or from a helicopter shot, downtown LA looks like a shiny island of glass in an ocean of low-rise neighborhoods. It is a skyline that feels like Hollywood, dramatic, cinematic, and always evolving. Next, we head to a city where energy, oil, and big business built a very serious collection of towers. Number 4, Houston, Texas. Houston's skyline is bold, dense, and powerful. As one of the energy capitals of the world, Houston has attracted massive companies, and those companies have built big. The downtown core is packed with tall office towers, many of them connected by tunnels and skywalks to escape the Texas heat. You'll see clusters of dark glass, white stone, and unique shapes like the curving Williams Tower not far away in the Galleria area. From a distance, Houston looks like a wall of skyscrapers rising from an almost completely flat landscape. Houston's message is clear. This is a city that does business on a very large scale, and its skyline reflects that. Now we leave the oil capital and head to the coastal city that has exploded in height over the last few decades. Number 3, Miami, Florida. Welcome to Miami, where the beach, the bay, and the skyscrapers all share the same view. Once known mainly for low-rise Art Deco buildings, Miami has transformed into one of the tallest cities in the United States. The neighborhoods of Brickell, downtown, and the waterfront are packed with high-rise condos and hotels, all trying to grab the best view of the water from the air. Miami looks like a forest of white and glass towers lining the edge of Biscayne Bay. The sun bounces off the facades, and at night the buildings light up with colorful accents that make the skyline feel almost like a video game. Miami is a perfect example of how lifestyle and luxury can drive a vertical boom. People want the view, so the city keeps building higher. But for the final 2 cities, we go to the heartland of high-rise history. Number 2, Chicago, Illinois. If skyscrapers had a hometown, it would be Chicago. This is the city where some of the first true skyscrapers were born, and that early innovation grew into a skyline that is still one of the most impressive on the planet. Chicago's towers line the edge of Lake Michigan and cluster around the Chicago River, creating views that feel almost unreal. Icons like the Willis Tower and the John Hancock Center helped define what a modern skyscraper could be: tall, strong, and instantly recognizable. But Chicago is not stuck in the past. New towers keep rising, mixing with historic high-rises to create a layered, textured skyline. From the water, from rooftop bars, or from street level looking straight up, Chicago is a masterclass in vertical design. It built early, it built bold, and it never really stopped. Now, there is only one city left. You already know the name, but the scale still deserves respect. Number 1, New York City, New York. This is it. The undisputed skyscraper capital of the United States. New York City has more skyscrapers than any other city in the country. By a huge margin, for over a century, it has been the place where architects, developers, and dreamers came to build higher than anyone thought possible. From Lower Manhattan's financial towers to the Midtown icons like the Empire State Building to the new super slender residential towers along Billionaires Row, New York's skyline is not just tall, it is legendary. Look at Manhattan from across the Hudson or from a helicopter shot, and it seems almost unreal. Hundreds of towers packed onto an island, each one fighting for attention, each one telling a story about money, ambition, and history. New York City's skyline is more than concrete and glass. It is a symbol of business, of culture, of the idea that when space runs out, humans will simply start stacking their world one floor at a time. So those are the top 10 US cities with the most skyscrapers, from Jersey City's rising waterfront to New York City's legendary forest of towers. Which city's skyline surprised you the most? Which one would you want to live in? Or just visit for that perfect rooftop view? Tell me in the comments. I would love to hear your answer. And if you enjoyed this journey through America's tallest cities, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next deep dive into the world's most impressive places. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up.